this was a closer game. Well, I'm pretty sure I tweeted or did a short saying that I'm pretty sure it was a short that of course no one could have predicted Mahomes going out with a concussion. And if you're a Chiefs fan, thank goodness they had enough points before he left because they were able to hold through.
It's the Turbo and 2K show.
Excuse me, but I really did think this game was going to be close, which it was. I thought that if the Browns could run the ball efficiently and often, they had a very good chance to win. And I still got to give it up to Baker, even though I'm not the biggest Baker fan. But he didn't. The first two playoff games, last week and this week, he didn't fuck anything up. He didn't fuck anything up, and we were streaming when that game was going on last week. And what did I say? Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, so Baker can't fuck it up. And they didn't do that.
Mhm.
They still threw the ball,
Mhm.
and Baker was through 0 interceptions. Now, what the hell happened to the Steelers is a whole other story. We actually probably don't even have time in this stream to talk about that. But we'll get. I'm sure in the postseason we will get into that. So, but
looking at that game last week, and yeah, the right thing to do is obviously keep the clock running. But
Mhm.
and the way that Pittsburgh was scoring there in the second half, and the way Roethlisberger was going, I mean, shit, he threw for over 500 yards. They needed Baker Mayfield to make some throws, and he did what he had to do. He made the plays that he had to make. Shit, he threw for 3 touchdown passes last week. So
he had a great game.
Yeah, and he played a great game today. I really do believe he played a great game today. It just didn't work out for them, obviously. I think Kansas City is all around the better team.
Oh yeah.
They had their opportunity though. I mean, Mahomes goes down with the concussion. They had the opportunity and I really think if they were able to make that stop and get one more possession, there's a good chance that game would have been different.
Well, I mean, you look at who actually won the game for them was their defense and Chad Henne, your boy. Your boy.
Michigan man, Chad Henne himself.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was in a Firehands chat watching a card break, and one of the guys had asked, is Chad Henne a Michigan product? And I responded with yes. And he goes, oh, well, Brady 2.0. So I immediately responded back, I think I'd pause on that one. And no more that I hit enter is when Henne threw that interception. And that was a horrible interception. There was two dudes just waiting. Like it's like he threw them the ball and not the Chiefs. I can't remember if it was Hill or whoever was running on the route. He didn't throw it to him. He threw it to the defender. And there was not one but two, and then there was one covering the receiver. So, and he had made great decisions, made great throws leading up to that point. And I'm like, wow. First of all, I didn't even realize Chad Henne was still in the league. Second of all, there's a reason why he's a backup, because he throws shit like that. However, you talk about some fucking stones to take that, what was it, 3rd and 14 and just take the ball and run with it. And comes up maybe, 2 or 3 inches short. Andy Reid has some fucking stones and goes for it just to ice the game. But you know what? That's Andy Reid, and that's the reason I love Andy Reid is he's got, especially after the Super Bowl win now, he's got stones, man. I love it. Excuse me. Sorry for those listening. But no, I loved it. I loved every part of it. And because, if you're Andy Reid, you're up by, I think it was 5. With minute and change, it was under 2 minutes. You go for it on 4th and inches on I want to say it was really close to the 50-yard line, maybe just past, just past the 50. So if you do not make it, you give Baker great field position and ample time to go down and score. And Andy Reid says, nope. We're going to go for it anyway. And on top of that, he goes for it with Henne in the shotgun and boots him and throws. I think that was the most shocking part of everything. It's like, holy shit, are you kidding me? Because everyone in the stands, everyone that's sitting here watching on TV is like, all right, they're going to try to make him jump and then call a timeout, and then Andy Reid will decide what the fuck he really wants to do. Nope. Andy Reid says, you want to see some cool shit? Hold my beer. And holy cow. I don't know about you two Ks, but I was blown the fuck away.
Yeah, I thought for sure that's what they were doing, was just going to, try to get him to jump off, call the timeout, and then punt it and pin him back and make him go the length of the field to win it, So, yeah, it shocked me, but yeah, Andy, that's kind of just been the way that Andy Reid called it his whole career. So,
yeah, fuck it, why not?
He just said, fuck it, we're just going to end it right now. Not even going to give you a chance, and it worked out.
Yeah, and
kudos to them.
Not even putting a backup. I mean, if you're going to do something like that, you're like, all right, the backup quarterback. Most people don't even know he's still in the league unless you're a Chiefs fan. Doesn't even put him under center. Puts him in the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things that could go wrong. A bad snap, like we saw with, that's something we didn't even jump into or even talk about with the Ravens, is how bad the center exchange was, and the center could have bombed the ball over his head, and next thing you know, it's, obviously the Browns would have taken over on downs, but it could have been on a 30 or 25-yard line because the center airmails the damn thing. Or yet again, the pass could be incomplete. There were so many things that could have gone wrong. But I think that's the reason it worked, because no one thought he'd ever fucking do it. But it's Andy Reid, and they obviously have not watched Andy Reid his whole career. So, yes, did that take? Oh, Leonard Fournette is now in the tent. It looks like he was hobbling a little bit, but yeah, I'm sure everyone, obviously including the defense, I guarantee the defense had they thought the same thing we did, and yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. But you know what? I really think that the NFL was so glad that the championship round was not the Bills and the Browns, just because either you'd have two passionate fucking fan bases, two probably the most passionate fan bases on the planet, but they would probably be the only ones to watch it. The rest of the rest of the football watching community wouldn't give a shit. And I would, because I really like watching the Bills. They're my new favorite team to watch. Just because how I mean, first of all, Josh Allen's a beast, and all the cool stuff that he does in his community and everything like that. They're just a good, wholesome team that, I'm hashtag Bills Mafia all the way. But the Browns and Bills would have been probably the most not sought after game to watch. But now we have Chiefs and Bills, which I think is way more better of a TV draw for the NFL. But I got to give it up to Baker Mayfield. I really do. Just watching him from, we talked about the maturation process of Josh Allen, and I think the only maturation process that's even better or more advanced was with Baker Mayfield. 2Ks, if you remember Baker coming in the league, smart mouth, just putting everything out there. We really haven't seen that. He's more reserved. Obviously, we see him on a million fucking ads, but that's a whole different story. But the version of Baker the last 5 or 6 games of the season is, I think, or the reason the Browns drafted him. So, like the Bills have found their franchise quarterback, I think Baker solidified that, and he's done a good enough job to be their franchise quarterback. What do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, just the whole season long, for him, it was just a whole different version of Baker that we got this year from last. I think everything, the expectations going into last season were so high for him. Coming off of that rookie season where, he won the job and took over there and had a great rookie season. And then kind of that sophomore slump last year, the expectations were so high, and his performance was just so bad. And then, this year, things it was just a different Baker. He wasn't. He did a lot of things last year, and I get it. Things, tend to keep getting worse as especially when you're performing the way that he was last year. But then even with the media, he was so bad, and he always had some smart ass thing to say, and just the way that he matured this year and kind of just kept his mouth shut, didn't say anything to set himself up to get pounded by the media, but just kind of quiet, just played it quiet, and I think that's what made it such a better season for him. And you can't have your quarterback, basically saying all the shit that he was and arguing with everybody in the media like he was last season. Yep. And it just the focus for him was so much better this year, and I think that's why he performed so well.
Now, the one thing I will say is that when it comes to his offense, I don't know how many more weapons you need, how many more weapons you can put around him. You've got the best running back combo in the country, or in the league. You've got Jarvis Landry, who's an amazing receiver. You've got at least 2 tight ends that are legit. You have a good offensive line. So it was just him needing to be in his space and put it all together to actually take that next step and perform. Because the organization has put everything that they can behind you. A stout defense, weapons on offense, protection on the offensive line. The only thing that's sad is that Joe Thomas is not there to, the left tackle for the Browns that was there for fucking ever. He's not there to enjoy this. That's the only downfall. That's the only downfall of this team. The one question I have with this team is, and I think you're going to know where I'm going with this 2Ks, is they did all of this without OBJ.
Yeah.
I mean, is he... He's obviously a great talent. He's one of the top receivers in the league when he has his shit straight. And it's just a question of, does he have his shit? I mean, which version of him are you going to get? And was this addition by subtraction? And if it was, I mean, you have a great trade piece in the offseason. Or do you bring him back and see what type of OBJ you get? He's been off with was it an Achilles or an ACL that he tore? And it seemed like as soon as he went out, the whole dynamic of the team changed. And that offense just started hitting on all cylinders. So, again, like we talked about with the Rams, there's going to have to be a lot of talk when it comes to that in the offseason.
Yeah, and I think it goes. I think a lot of people are going to just say, well, they were a better team when Odell was off the field, and it's hard to argue that. I mean, obviously, yeah, they were better, but I think people the first thing they want to do is they want to knock Odell for it. Well, Odell's not as good as what people say, or he's not a superstar receiver, and I mean, let's not go too far now. I mean, we're talking about one of the most talented receivers in the league, one of the most athletic. Big play waiting to happen with Odell. I think there's a problem with Cleveland. It's kind of what you said earlier about them having everything around them. They're surrounded by all these great players, these 2 running backs. You got Jarvis Landry, you got Odell Beckham, you got 2 tight ends, you got everything around them. And I think that for a young quarterback like Baker Mayfield, that's hard to manage all those those names. You want to get Chubb his carries, you want to get Kareem Hunt his carries. And then you want to get, you got to make sure I get 7-8 balls out to Odell, and I got to make sure I get 7-8 passes to Jarvis Landry. That's hard to do for a guy like Baker Mayfield being in his third season. Last year he was trying to do it also with all those names, and it's only his second season. That's hard to do. I look at like the situation that Tom Brady's in right now with Tampa, and Tom Brady's never had this type of talent around him. As far as similar. Very similar. Rob Gronkowski and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and Leonard Fournette and all the names around him. But we're talking about Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the way that he plays, it doesn't matter what the name is on the back of your jersey or what number you have. He's going to throw it to the open guy. If you're open or if you beat your guy on that, he's going to throw it to you. And we're talking about a veteran that's played 20 seasons in the league. That stuff kind of comes along. That Tom Brady in his second, third year of his career would not have been able to play on the stage of what the Browns have surrounded Baker Mayfield by, as far as having all those big names. So I think that's a very hard job that Baker was given as far as having those big names. And the first thing you want to say is on paper, that team is great. But when you actually step foot on the field and you have all those high egos, I mean, you're dealing with great players. So obviously, great players comes with an ego, and you're trying to keep everybody happy. That's a very hard thing to do. So, yeah, I think the best thing for Baker this year was obviously the injury to Odell, because it allowed Baker to kind of just relax and sit back and say, all right, I'm going to throw it to the guy that's open, and then Cleveland obviously with the running game, it made it easier for Baker, is because we're going to run the ball and then kind of look to pass second. So. Yeah, but no knock at all. You can't knock Odell on this either. I mean, he's still one of the best receivers in the league, and wherever he goes, he's a big play waiting to happen.
No, and I wasn't trying to insinuate that it was his fault. It was just the circumstance that is what it is right now. And where do they move forward without him? Do they bring him back? That's like I said, getting back to the Rams and their decisions in the offseason, this is going to have to be one of theirs. We're on the AFC side, 2Ks, we're looking at the Bills at the Chiefs, because obviously the Chiefs are the number one seed on that side. Just give me your quick 60-second thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, leading into this game, I really thought the Chiefs were just going to kind of pull away with it, win it easy. And, what the fuck? I guess my first question is, what the fuck are they running an option with Patty Mahomes for?
Yeah.
You're putting him in that situation for this injury, and now he's a question mark. He's a question mark if he's going to be ready. I just think that, let Mahomes do what he does best. Let him drop back and just build football to all the great receivers that you have on your team, and just win the game instead of trying to do some fucking college football option bullshit. And I get it, they scored a touchdown earlier in the game off of that same type of play, but you can't. You were the better team. I think everybody kind of knew that Kansas City was going to take care of Cleveland rather easily. So there was no reason to run anything like that. Just do let Patty Mahomes throw his normal 3 touchdown passes and win the game and move on to the next week.
Yeah, and that all signs are pointing that they will get Clyde Edwards-Helaire back. So that's to me that's going to be
that's huge for them.
That's going to be the linchpin for me, because getting back to, like we were talking, how the Bills are going to be built. They have to run the ball to beat the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to have to run the ball to keep it away from Josh Allen, especially if it gets towards each team in the 40s or each team in the 30s. It's going to be whose running backs are going to be able to perform down the stretch to milk the clock and to get things done. And if Helaire's back, I give the Chiefs a huge, huge bonus. Le'Veon Bell, I'm all right with him not even playing. Dexter or Williams, I can never remember which D it is, because they've had like 3 running backs with D Williams on the back, but he actually was very, very efficient today. But the Helaire coming back, if he is able to go, is going to be huge, and I think he's going to be the difference maker in the game.